In her first network TV interview, one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers sheds new light on people she says helped Epstein run his alleged sex trafficking ring. Sarah Ransome accuses Epstein of raping her on his private island and says Epstein had help from at least two women who were close to him. Ransome is featured in the new documentary series being released on Netflix, Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich. The documentary also includes an interview with a contractor who worked for Epstein for years, who describes what he saw on that island.
I started working on the island in 1999.
Steve Scully worked for Jeffrey Epstein for 6 years.
I was there for maintenance on Jeffrey Epstein's telecommunications and data equipment.
In the Netflix documentary series, Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich.
He's dead, but he did not act alone.
Scully says he frequented the wealthy financier's 75-acre private island in the Caribbean, Little St. James.
I was on the island probably 100 times. I was ultimately in every single building.
Scully says he often saw young girls and prominent guests visit, including Prince Andrew, who he says he saw by the pool with a young girl. Scully says the FBI showed him this photograph of Prince Andrew with Virginia Roberts Giuffre.
And as soon as I saw her, that was the girl that he was kind of like grinding against at the pool. She was at that time wearing a bikini bottom. That's it.
Giuffre claims she was forced to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17. The prince has acknowledged a friendship with Epstein, but denies any sexual contact with Giuffre.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
What was the most striking thing that you found about Epstein?
I just think that it is just baffling how he manipulated and lied his way through his entire life.
I'd like to answer that question. But today, I'm going to have to assert my Sixth Amendment rights.
Director Lisa Bryant started working on the documentary in 2018, before Jeffrey Epstein's arrest.
This pyramid scheme, the scope was unbelievable. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of girls we learned.
From the very first day that I arrived on the island, the abuse started.
Sarah Ransome was 22 when she met Epstein in 2006. The South African who'd come to New York to study fashion was soon invited to the island.
Quite soon after that, I was called into his bedroom and then raped. And there was no way of escaping off the island.
In the documentary, Ransome describes being in shock.
I think the more he saw you being damaged, the more he enjoyed it, the more it excited him.
Last year, after Epstein died by suicide in prison, Ransome joined other survivors in court. What was that day like for you?
I wanted to see him held accountable. I have faith that maybe I'll get another day in court where I can face my co-conspirators, the people that helped Jeffrey rape me every day.
Epstein's chief lieutenants, says Ransome, were Ghislaine Maxwell and Sarah Kellen.
You know, when Jeffrey wanted me, Sarah Kellen or Ghislaine would call me to his bedroom, and I had no choice but to go. Ghislaine was always on the phone, and Sarah Kellen was always on her laptop organizing things.
Did Sarah Kellen essentially make appointments for you? What did she do?
Absolutely. She booked all my flights.
Sarah Kellen went on to marry NASCAR driver Brian Vickers. In a statement to CBS News, Kellen's spokesperson said Epstein sexually and psychologically abused Kellen for years. The statement went on to say Kellen scheduled appointments for Epstein and Maxwell at their direction, adding Kellen is aware of the pain and damage Epstein caused and deeply regrets that she had any part in it. Ghislaine Maxwell denies any involvement with Epstein's alleged sex trafficking ring. Today, Maxwell's whereabouts are unknown. Neither woman has been criminally charged. When you read that Ghislaine Maxwell says she had no involvement in this, or when Sarah Kellen says she was a victim, what's your reaction to that?
I think it's disgraceful, and these people are going to burn in hell. Ghislaine knew exactly what she was doing. She knew that every time she called me, I was going to be raped. every time. Sarah Keller knew for every girl that she organized to go on that island or to be picked up by a car, to go to the New York mansion, she knew that these girls were there to be raped repeatedly. She's going to rot in hell. Definitely.
This never really goes away, does it, Sarah?
No, and the fear never goes away.
The fear.
I live every day in fear. I don't know where these people are. I don't know whether they're going to knock on my door, whether they're going to phone me, whether I'm going to get an email. It's affected me to such an extent that until they're arrested, I don't think I'll ever start to heal.
Sarah Ransome settled a lawsuit with Epstein and with Maxwell in 2018. Virginia Giuffre also settled a suit with Maxwell. Prince Andrew's lawyers told CBS News they had no comment on Steve Scully's claim regarding the Prince and Virginia Giuffre on the island. They did offer a quote from a friend who said Andrew was on the island at the time with his age-appropriate girlfriend. The full documentary is out tomorrow on Netflix. And Gail, one thing that you sure see in this documentary is how the women involved with Jeffrey Epstein are dealing with long, lingering, and profound emotional damage.
That's what struck me about the interview with Sarah, Anthony, is that even though the perpetrator, Jeffrey Epstein, is dead, that she still doesn't have peace, that she still doesn't feel she has justice, and to know, according to her, that other women, I'll never understand this, how other women could participate in harming another woman is very, very difficult. My heart goes out to her. Very powerful interview.
Yeah, I've interviewed several survivors now, and one of the common themes you hear is they felt for years they just weren't heard. They made complaints,
right.
And the court system didn't respond. It took very long. The first complaint was made that we know of was made in 1996, and it wasn't until last year that Jeffrey Epstein, actually appeared in court.